Won't let me open it. I can't get my agenda to open. Hold on.
Trish, while we're getting it open, perhaps you can just provide the agenda items to the chair.
Okay,
and
we're live.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to call the meeting to order at 6:08 on the 5th of January. My apologies. I'm trying my agenda link here and it keeps telling me it's corrupt and can't open the file. So Trish, if I can get you just to email me the agenda real quick on my BIA email, that would be great. And I'll just have it separate. I'm just going to wait for that. Sorry, my apologies. I had it up and then I accidentally closed it and now it won't let me open it. We'll start with, has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda? Any questions, concerns, additions, corrections? Okay, can we take a motion to accept the agenda? There, perfect, I got it. Thanks, Trish. Motion to accept the agenda. Dustin and Bert seconded. Everyone in favor? Perfect. All right. Approval of the minutes. Does everyone have a chance to look at the minutes from December 1st, 2021? Any questions, concerns, additions, subtractions? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the minutes from December 1st? Steve? And we'll Dustin, you okay to second that? And then all in favor? Perfect. All right. Any business arising from anything at this point so far? Everything's on the agenda that you wanted to see? Perfect. All right. Justin, welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy lockdown.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Happy New Year to you all, and happy to join you again this evening to give a quick update from our Perth County Economic Development Tourism team. So a bit of a brief update. I do apologize I didn't send anything written in advance with the holiday. That just didn't have an ability to do that, but we'll provide an update and circulate any relevant information after the meeting for the attendees. So one thing I wanted to highlight, so I did mention that I think at the last meeting that Perth County had completed a triage business retention and expansion survey. So we did present those findings to County Council at the beginning of December. I just wanted to share a couple of the highlights. So that complete report is available on the Perth County webpage. I just wanted to share a couple of the highlights I think that are really important and valuable for us as a community moving forward. So one of the things that we did find from the survey was that there was a really exceptional business satisfaction in Perth County. So 95% business satisfaction across Perth County, with businesses being either extremely satisfied or satisfied with doing business in Perth County, which the consultant team that undertook the study said that was one of the highest satisfaction rates they've seen in anywhere across the country where they've done this survey. So really speaks to Perth County as a great place to do business. Obviously, the COVID pandemic, and in spite of that, businesses were still very satisfied with kind of the support they were receiving locally. So really strong result there. So we did do, the survey was a random survey of 160 businesses across Perth County. One of the benefits of doing that random sampling survey, as opposed to some of the kind of opt-in surveys we've done in the past, we were able to reach businesses that hadn't volunteered to be part of a survey in the past. And we were able to uncover that 45 businesses in Perth County did have plans to expand the next 2 years. So out of the 160 businesses, 45 businesses had plans to expand the next 2 years, which is really remarkable given the economic climate we've had over the last 2 years now. And with 45 business expansions, it really does bode to a strong recovery once we can finally get there. So that was a real strong finding that we found. There was only 2 businesses that had plans to close over the next 2 years, and we followed up with a lot of the businesses so far and continue to follow up. And those 2 plans to close had nothing to do with COVID. They were just simply businesses kind of reaching the end of their life cycle, retirement or whatnot. So so far those results were really good. Again, the survey was done in October, November of last year. So hoping that the current restrictions don't have any drastic impact on kind of the overall trajectory the county has in terms of lots of expanding businesses and not too many businesses with plans to close. And we've been following up again with all those businesses, trying to figure out how we can help facilitate those expansions. What does that mean for businesses that, they need more employees, they need more space. What are those expansions looking like, and really trying to make sure we can help support that over the next 2 years as they move forward. So that was one of the highlights I wanted to share. And again, the full report is available on our website. And some of the areas I think where there was challenges, where there was kind of lower satisfaction, weren't really surprising, but it's good to kind of see it borne out in the statistics. So housing for workers was a major priority in terms of businesses, places for people to work and live. Availability of skilled and unskilled labor were also high on the list of business areas where they were not finding those candidates in the workforce to meet their needs. So obviously business expanding, if they're not finding those employees, both skilled and unskilled, that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to continue to work forward. And our 2022 work plan does have a number of initiatives that are kind of supporting that workforce development piece. And also, obviously Perth County Connect will be a critical part of that in terms of getting those employees where they need to be so they can fill those jobs. 2021 also ended with our Give the Gift of Experience campaigns. This was our kind of our kind of holiday shopping promotion that was launched online. Did reach over 9,000 people, or almost 9,000 people reached that campaign. So it was really strong kind of push to get that shop local before the holidays. And then also 2021 ended with the launching of our final 2021 Discover More Ventures experience, which was Harry 10 Shillings Devon Double Cream Tea at Home experience. So that was kind of capped off our year of Discover More experiences, and look forward to kind of keeping those going over the new year in terms of promotion. We also in December did have our Discover More Resilience Business Open House event at the Mitchell Golf Club. It was kind of just as the threat of Omicron was starting to rise, so I think that might have kept a few people away, but we did have some good conversations, some decent number of business and community folks that turned out, and really grateful that we were able to have that opportunity to meet with some businesses before we obviously entered this period of restrictions again. We did launch our Perth County Resilience video at that meeting, at that event, I should say. So that's available on our Facebook page, our social media. Encourage you to watch it. It tells 4 stories of local businesses who have pivoted and really found ways to persevere throughout the pandemic. And Sugar Maple from West Perth was featured in that video, and they also received another video of their own that they'll be hopefully utilizing next little while to help showcase their business. So I encourage you again to visit that. And then finally, a new campaign we just launched today, obviously with our at least 21 days of this modified stage 2. We launched our 21 Days of Loving Local campaign online today on Facebook. So we know obviously small businesses like restaurants are going to, and those forced to close, are going to be challenged for the next 21 days for sure. So this campaign is designed to encourage folks to support local, and we're making it super easy to do so. So really just go to our Facebook page, comment on the post, you'll find there at our Facebook page, comment, share, like, post a photo of yourself supporting local business. So could be picking up takeout from a local restaurant, could be doing an at-home fitness class or at-home dance class, virtual dance class, whatever it may be. Just a quick photo of yourself supporting local to get you entered into our daily draw for $100 local gift cards. So we're going to be doing this every day for the next 21 days. Really encouraging folks to shop local, show their support for shopping local, build that community, and provide a little bit of an incentive to reward those folks who are helping to keep our businesses supported during this difficult time. So that's my brief update, and welcome any questions. And again, thanks for having me this evening.
Sorry, I forgot to take my mute off. I was having my own conversation there. Any questions for Justin? No? Good, thank you. All right, municipal update. Jeff Brick.
Hi,
Holiday
everyone.
season's over.
Yeah. No comment, actually. So that's very closely tied to my first agenda item. So as everyone knows, with the onset of Omicron and the changing sort of infectious rate and our numbers in Ontario, the province provided new requirements and is bringing out in regulations. The municipality, I'll just quickly indicate that the municipality has obviously adapted. We're all required to. And I think it's important to tell the BIA, the main obvious changes are recreation facilities are closed effective today, this morning. Our fire response, our water and wastewater operations, and our municipal road operations are all, we've implemented plans for all those essential municipal services to do the best we can to not have trouble with our workforce. If you've been following the media today, there are a number of municipalities that are struggling and hospitals that are struggling with workforce numbers on essential services. And that's something we've been planning for some time, and we've had good success with it so far, but it does require a change in operations. And then in terms of other economic activity, the building permit services will continue. The library is open for with some restrictions and some changed hours, but if you have anyone that wants to print their vaccine proof of vaccination QR code, the library is a good place to go where there's a printer, and those staff are there to help. And we are enhancing our PPE a little bit more. We're going to put another level of protection in for PPE that we haven't had in the past, so we'll be doing that. And finally, the municipal office, it remains closed, and we haven't been able to open it to the public because of the fact that we can't manage the front foyer because we can't handle the 6-foot distancing, and we have the doorbell on demand service, which has worked remarkably well. We'll continue with that service. We do have some staff in the office, although we have everyone that can work from home working from home. The culture of our organization is most people want to be in, and we found that the last time there was a lot more anxiety about wanting to be in than getting to work from home. We've got everyone equipped to work from home, but it's not the same environment. And so we have worked out shifts, and we've worked out a way to manage staffing so that we can ensure we've got as few in as possible and keep things safe and not run the risk of having one contact get a few folks infected or considered close contacts and not be able to come in and lose a part of our workforce. So those adaptations have been made. I don't want to say it's business as usual because it certainly isn't, but we're trying to do the usual business. And that's where we're at. Couple of other just quick ones. The lights went on the Friendship Center. It's a case where that request came, or sorry, not in the Friendship Center, on the lights on the Visitor Center. So Unitech came to us with a proposal to put lights in the Visitor Center, or the Visitor Center. I know that came through the BIA to start with, and it got to the municipality. It was fairly late by the time we got it to council, but council dealt with it very assertively. It's an example where sometimes doing business and working with a council in a small town is kind of delightful because the decision was made, let's get them up. And we'll deal with getting I think we have a clear understanding of what the expectations are and how it will work. We'll deal with the paperwork later. So we'll be working on getting a little contract together for that lighting and some recognition for the provision of the lighting by Unitech. So I think it's kind of a win-win, and it certainly looked great. So looking forward to that. And Sherry, there was another update I was going to give. It was something we're in the final throes of preparing. Can you remind me?
The new pavilion in Ketterson Park,
right.
The fundraising.
Thanks. I was never going to remember it again, so thanks for reminding me. So the Ketterson Pavilion is an approved project. We are getting that ISIP grant. We're getting over $800,000 in Infrastructure Canada grant financing, and which is great news for West Perth. There was a $190,000 or $200,000 local fundraising component to that. It was in the $200,000 range. And we're getting very close to being ready to kick off that fundraising campaign. The campaign will be targeted at different levels of sponsorship, everything from getting to sponsor the new bottle filling station right through to the naming sponsorship will be available. And at the other end of the scale also, there's we have recognition programs for people who want to give small donations like $100 or whatever. So we're working on what that's going to look like specifically. We're actually getting some final input from staff and council, and we hope to get that fundraising campaign launched here in the next month or the next 3 weeks to a month. The idea being that I think it's a way for people to invest in their local community. Even modest contributions will be very welcomed, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting that project tendered in February or March and be building it and have it up and ready to go in September. So that's the goal for that project, and that's one of our things that we've been working on quite a bit this last couple of weeks. So I'll take any questions if there are any, Chair Bell.
And I tried really hard to pay very close attention to you. Did you touch very briefly on the arena?
Yeah, the arena is closed, and yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
I just thought we'd make sure that was said on
and
recording.
actually, what I didn't mention
Please.
is, and I think I should have mentioned, and I think people are jumping to conclusions on this, so I'm happy to mention, we obviously, we're not taking the ice out. We are in a different place than we were last year when the decision was made to take the ice out. This is a very different situation. It has a very short timeline on it of 3 weeks. We're very hopeful that that 3 weeks will get the adjustment that the province and public health officials are looking for, and we may be back in business. So we've basically just mothballed the arena with the ice left in it, and we'll see where we're at in 3 weeks. If the date is extended and we have some decisions to make, we'll do as we did last year and consult with the user groups before we make any decision to remove ice. And I think that we'll also go to council and use the council forum as a way to vet that user group consultation that was done last year, because there were some people left dissatisfied with the fact that the user groups, it wasn't as well communicated within the user groups as we would have liked, and we felt that that just was unfortunate. So we'll take that in a little different direction this year. We're in a little different spot with our facility this year as far as the way the insulation works and some of the things that we've got done. We've been doing some upgrades to the arena that are paying back as far as energy use goes, and it's not as bad on a monthly basis for the hydro bill as it used to be. So
that led me to another question here, Jeff, just really quickly. The library with municipal service buildings or services like the arena to be closed, what's the effect on our library?
So the library is it remains open for visits, particularly for computer use. We have to go to 50% capacity. It's open during the regular hours, so Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday to Saturday from 10 till 5. You know, it's not lost on us that this is a difficult time for families and families with children. We want to make sure that those resources are available. We're not able to rent the indoor space, just like the arena. That space can't be rented. And I should mention that our recreation coordinator, Hannah Can, who's actually covering a mat leave for Abby, Hannah is working on trying to come up with some outdoor activities and some online things that we can put out there to support parents and support residents if they're looking for things to do. We're trying to sort out the question of whether the 10 outdoors gathering applies, what it applies to and how it'll be applied. So there's a few little glitches to work out about how the regulation works, and we're working on that, but we want to provide things to support. So
okay, perfect. And I did notice that our downtown West Perth Youth Center as well has had to just temporarily closed for drop-ins and their indoor programs at this point too, just as a downtown.
Yeah.
So, okay, perfect. Is there any questions? This is your time. Hit them up. Any questions for Jeff?
No.
Oh,
great.
Get off easy
Thanks,
tonight.
everyone.
All right, great.
I'll stay
Thank
on
you,
till
Jeff.
the end of the meeting in case
Okay.
someone thinks of something.
Okay. Financials, Trish.
Okay, just gonna share my screen. Okay. So I've got the financial report up in front. I don't have too many things to point out on this. So I know it was set in advance of the meeting, and I'm not sure if anybody happens to have any questions. I do want to point out the line that has office miscellaneous is over budget. Something I have missed and finance missed, that this is actually an improper allocation. So this 774.60 is the Microsoft licenses for the chair's email, my email, and the my cell phone. So this is, they're going to actually do a GL to move this out of office miscellaneous into the IT line where it should have been all year. So apologies for not catching that. You'll also notice that our 10% discount on BIA Bucks line, we've budgeted 5,000 and nothing has been allocated yet. We haven't heard back from the bank on a few things. Wendy and I are waiting on follow-up from some of them. So she doesn't have any bank reconciliations and hasn't been able to see the account yet to get a better understanding of the ins and outs. So we are in contact with them and working on that. So this is an expense that still has to hit the budget. And then to jump back up, our audit expense will be expensed before year end. So I think they said they were working on the November reconciliation, and they want to have January closed by the 3rd week. So there is more expenses to come under the advertising line to wrap up the last few ads in the Advocate. And the expense that I haven't put in for yet for our domain registration, and then the $35 shipping, extra shipping that it costs to get the pole wraps across the border. So I think that's probably a $60 expense to go in yet still. But other than that, we're sitting to the good still, $3,261.99. I don't know if there's any other questions on the financials at this point. Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think the big burning question was the BIA dollars, which you answered for us at this point.
Yeah, and I guess the other piece while I'm on this really quick is they have sold about 38,000 and change in BIA Bucks to date. So that still puts us under our $5,000 threshold. So I'm wondering, does the board want to extend the program for a couple weeks? I sent out an email, kind of got a couple different opinions. So I don't know if we want to come to a consensus on either extending it another week, 2 weeks. The bank is open to extending with us. So there's no qualms there.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll deal with that now. Trish, if you would unshare just for a moment so I can,
Sure.
because right now I just see you. If everybody's okay with that, let's have a brief thought discussion. Or does someone want to just make a motion to extend and then we'll discuss, or not extend?
I would suggest if you're going to extend it, you extend it to pass people that already bought BIA Bucks. Because if they haven't got them by now, they're not going to get them.
Okay.
Open it up to everybody.
Sorry, I don't know what you mean, Steve.
Like, I've already bought my $250 worth again. If we're going to extend it, I should be allowed to buy another $250.
Oh.
Okay.
If you haven't bought them by now, you either don't
You're
know
not.
about the program or you're not interested in being part of the program.
I just haven't got out to get mine yet. I haven't got mine yet.
Well, there is one or two like that.
Last minute, Lucy. Okay.
I am-
So, yes, go ahead.
No, I just say I'm unique.
You're good. Okay, so would we like to make a motion to extend it for another 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we extend it by 2 weeks and open it up to anybody that has previously purchased BIA dollars too.
So we'll get a seconder for that and then we'll open it to discussion.
I'll
Dustin has seconded it. Okay, or Heather, Dustin. Okay, so some discussion on that as a full motion, opening it up to those who have already. No discussion? Okay, all in favor? And that's carried then. 2 more weeks and we'll open it to everyone. Okay, perfect. And, okay, Trish, we'll go back to your work plan then. Christmas street party by the looks of it.
Oh, okay. So I'm on share.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. So Christmas street party, I think it went off fantastic. We had the ranch live on location. He set up his truck and had inflatables, played Christmas music, and it was fairly loud. Like I was up and down the street and I heard it at both ends. So that was great. We had the alpacas set up in front of Skyline and Floral Treasures on St. Andrews Street, just to give them some coverage away from the traffic of people and the traffic from the highway. Heather and myself, mainly Heather, was set up in front of CIBC, looking after the letters to Santa station and the receipt drop off. As well, I counted the receipts after, and we had over 100 receipts. So over 100 purchases were made that night, which I think is fantastic. And then we had, I think it was 15 letters to Santa that came in. So kids pre-wrote their letters, dropped them off. And I thought that, again, went off without a hitch, just a little less congestion. We got to use our new BIA West Perth tent, so that was cool. We had a few businesses open, and the Coca-Cola truck was a pretty big draw, and the free hot dogs. So thank you, Steve and Terry, for having such a great attraction. And then we also had Francis Ryan down there as Santa. So I know that Tim Hortons wasn't able to be there that night, and I know that they had given hot chocolate coupons. So Heather handed those out as people walked by. We were given 1,000 coupons and we had none left. Like, I think a couple hours into it, Heather, like, I don't know when you ran out, but I was told they gave us 1,000 free hot chocolate coupons and nobody got multiples. Like, it was just, I don't know, that they were gone. So I'm assuming we had a good 1,000 people there. I don't know, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was, the coupons were very well received by the parents, because instead of having their kids walking down the street with hot chocolate, they can go there later. So that it was good. It was a good hit. Yeah.
And Steve, do you know what you gave away in hot dogs? Like, or do you want to say, is there any feedback on that?
We probably gave away close to 700 hot dogs.
Wow. And that's probably not many duplicates. I'm assuming that's like probably one per person.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think we had a really huge crowd. The one piece of feedback that I was given by a few people that stopped at where Heather and I were, was that there was a lot of stores that weren't open that night. So, I don't know. I know that maybe we can work harder on maybe going in person to see the businesses to make sure they're on board, whatever feedback the board has to better promote. But it was in newsletters, it was on our social media, it was on the website, the Advocate, Facebook. Like, I feel like I got it out there as best I could, and I don't know where the disconnect was. So something to consider for next year.
I'm thinking there was one comment about not for enough planning. Now, having said that, I said to them, it's like, it was hard to plan ahead when you really didn't even know if we could have it. But I think we maybe within the next month or two, we actually start setting dates for some of that in advance and just pound on it, because when people know in advance, like right now, are we going to have it? The only question I'd have is, are we going to have it the same day as the Christmas parade, or go back to the 2 weeks prior? Whatever date we pick, I think we just pick the date and we pound on it like all the other stuff.
That was something else too that was mentioned to me, is Scotiabank was giving out hot chocolate and cider, and they had a Plinko game and gave away swag. And they all thought that we should really have it the same night as the parade. Even if it comes downtown, yes, it's extra traffic, but you've got the people down there standing watching the parade. So I don't know what 2022 is going to bring, but maybe something to consider.
Can we, Steve, can you, his name eludes me right now, for the Coke truck?
Chris Vogel.
Chris, I was chatting with him. Is there a way you could just tuck in the back of your hand and just start saying, please bring it back next year?
I'll try. Yeah, it was his area manager that brought it to the area. So How
Right.
Coca-Cola does it, I have no idea, but we'll certainly put it on the radar for next year again.
I know he was saying that he had a bigger turnout in Mitchell and a few of his areas at previous places. So it went over really, really well. So, I mean, it was a big drawing card as I could see it. So,
Yeah, it was in Stratford previous that day, and they didn't have a very good turnout. We got lucky with the timing, 6 o'clock at night. It's dark out, the lights really show off, everything like that. So, and then, I hired a Santa Claus to be there, threw the free hot dogs there. Everybody loves something free. And, that's always a draw too, right? So, but yeah, sir, we'll certainly aim for it again next year, or try and do something as good anyways.
yeah, it
My
was cool.
apologies, my apologies, I wasn't able to be there, so I'm going to ask this question because I wasn't there. Did you feel that the radio station downtown was a plus?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
did.
So
He-
something that would be worth it again to put on our agenda for next year.
So he walked up and down the street throughout the night and was talking to people. He went into businesses. And so if you go back and look on the ranch's Facebook
Mhm.
page that night, he actually went in and took pictures of businesses that were open, like
Yeah.
some of their displays, and just said, like, come down to B&B Pet Supplies Mitchell Office Pro, or MMJ
Okay.
Asian Mart had a toy drive. Like, I think it was great promotion for the money.
Okay, so something that we definitely make sure that we have on our next year, and that we maybe push that factor a little bit more, that they, the radio station actually went into the businesses. That may help us a little bit as well. And just throw this out there, maybe if we do it on the same night as the actual parade and the radio station is there at the same time, the interaction with the people on the street for him would be even bigger
Right.
for the radio
Never know.
station. Right? Possibly. So, okay, good. All good feedback. I think we covered the gemstone lights. Did everyone have a chance to see them? They're pretty. They're still there, but they're very
Are they
pretty.
still
They're very
on?
eye-catching.
I didn't
do
really
believe
notice.
so,
So I'll have
at
to go
nighttime.
relook.
They're very pretty. They're very eye-catching. One thing, maybe if I know Jeff is still here, and I should have asked you when we talked about the gemstone lights, Jeff, I haven't seen it, and maybe I just missed it on the municipality social medias. A thank you to them for doing it. I was kind of looking for it. I did see the tree pickup and a few little things, but I'm not sure if there was any mention anywhere on our social medias about the gemstones.
Oh, sorry, about the gemstones. No, I thought you were talking about
No, the gemstone.
when did it go up? Because I might have already been on holidays, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that I think it was just unfortunate timing that the day that Kristen was done for they went up. So we can, I'm not sure if anyone got any photography that we could use something for a post, but if you'd like a post, we can make one.
There is a fabulous post on the shared, I do believe, on the BIA page, shared on mine, shared on Unitech's page itself. There's an
Yeah,
actual video of the gemstone lights going the first night they put them up. It's right on Unitech's Facebook page.
All right, so we'll leave it with Kristen to see if we can
Sure.
come up with a
Wonderful.
post that thanks, okay?
And
Yeah.
while we're talking about it, something that I've been finding is working really well with like the library and the West Perth Recreation has its own Facebook page now. If you guys post something like that, if you tag the municipality in it, Trish, it's fantastic because I usually check accounts, but a tag really just helps me do like a quick share or whatever, just to kind of make it
Perfect.
right off it.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Okay. I
Um,
jumped the gun. 2022 meeting date.
Okay. Let me just flip over screens again. We'll just bounce between everything tonight. So the 2022 meeting dates did go out to the board in advance. What I did is I just stuck with the same first Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. It'll be via Zoom until further notice. The biggest one to highlight would be in March is our AGM. So we would need to make sure that everybody's in attendance for that date. If that date doesn't work, then we should solidify a new date. Again, no meeting in August. And yeah, that's how it kind of plays out. The first Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. So I don't know what everybody's thoughts are on that to continue. I will unshare so that Sherry can see everybody.
What is the lead time on the AGM? Is it 30 days or is it 60 days?
It's like actually really not well laid out in our constitution, but we do 30 days.
No, as long as we make sure we advertise it properly versus getting caught like I think we did last year.
Actually, sorry, I think our constitution specifies 3 weeks, but we've always done 4 to 6 weeks to give them a heads up and keep it going.
And as soon as we accept that meeting list tonight for Trish, you'll be able to start letting people know in the next, over the next few constant contacts and stuff she can start. So yeah, as soon as everybody accepts that, we'll be okay. So why don't I have a motion to accept the 2022 meeting dates? Dustin and a seconder, Steve, everybody in favor? Okay, that's carried. So now Trish is able to, start adding that to our newsletters and stuff, and we'll give people as much notice as we possibly can.
Yeah.
All right. Mitchell Advocate advertising proposal.
Okay. So this went out to the board in advance of the meeting again. You'll notice it's the same. It's similar to the one that we received kind of, I think it was mid-year last year. So I'm just going to flip past their opening about targeting audiences and where they are and just go to the funds on this one. So again, this proposal is a recommendation from the Mitchell Advocate. We are not tied to spending the total client dollar that they've given us on the end. But what this does show, and I think again that it would be an asset to the board to see, is based on different ventures that we decide for the upcoming year, it'll show you roughly like what advertising would cost for that item. So if we decide to do music in the park, for instance, we'll do a banner ad. They've got complimentary teasers leading up to the event, complimentary editorial, and then they're basically going pretty hard at digital. And so that would be $1,000. Like each kind of, I'll call it a package, is different based on the event and their recommendation. So tonight, I just want to know, I guess, if the board not necessarily approves, because again, it's a $5,000 investment. So I'm not really looking for approval to spend $5,000, but I'm looking for approval that this proposal is, like, I guess that the board's okay with the proposal and you would be okay with spending. I don't know if you want to set a budget dollar, Sherry. I know we're going to come to the budget, but letting me work with the advocate again in 2022 to kind of play around with the packages based on whatever events we have going. Because if we don't have the Christmas street party next year, that money could be poured into music in the park if we open up in the summer. Like, kind of have that rearrangement of the dollar value again. So I don't know if the board had a chance to look at this, if any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, anything.
The only question
think-
I have, but carry on, Sherry.
No, you ask your question first.
So right now, if I read it correctly, we have a $5,000 budget for the year. And right now we're using 5,000 on this style of promotion. Are we going to find ourselves caught? Or are we looking just to juggle numbers if we want to venture out into other forms of media?
So that was, yes, segues into what I was going to say. Bert, I wonder if we should have a discussion on part 2 of Trish's with the radio before we finish this. I wonder if we move into the radio presentation costs and then we discuss it as a whole.
Sure. And then it does kind of follow up with the budget.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
I think that would be best too. I was going to suggest that too. What about the other proposal on advertising?
Okay, the other piece of the advocate I want to point out is this additional solution sponsored content that they provided us with last year. This is that story that they wanted to run, and I think it's a fantastic idea, providing that we have something to run. So when I had spoke with Deb about this via email, she's suggesting to hold off on this sponsored content if we want to do this until the spring, when we kind of know more when things opened up, what events we're having. That kind of content. There's no sense putting content out there for $1,281 when we have nothing going on. So she's fantastic to work with and completely sees the value in our dollar. So I'm super happy to work with them again this year. Can you see that I've flipped screens? Okay. So the next one is Brent had reached out to Today FM and 107.1 Juice FM, the two Stratford radio stations. They're based out of the same building, but two different stations. And they had provided this feedback. So I had a conversation with Dave about our budget. We don't have a very big overall budget. Most companies spend anywhere from, I think it was about the $2,000 to $5,000 sometimes on radio a year. So it just depends. It can go up and up from there. So this is, if we were to run ads on one radio station, these are 3-month package options that they give us. So, you know, in January, we could buy 25 ads on either radio station, which is, and then you would get 35 ads free, for $750 plus tax. So on and so on for February and March. And then you can also add an online and on-air campaign for mystratfordnow.com for an additional $200 a month plus tax. So these are dollars for one radio station. The second page they sent us was if we doubled up and went and advertised on both radio stations. So if you bought 50 ads, which is 25 per station, you get 70 ads free, 35 per station at an investment of $1,300 plus HST. And again, you can pick 1, 2, or 3 months worth and then add your online on-air campaign for an additional $200 plus tax a month as well. So those were the two options they gave us, one radio station or 2 radio stations. And then they also provided us with pricing on their digital advertising. So this is on their website, mystratfordnow.com, $360 plus tax a month. They've got a sample here of Rio Thompson's, the banner that would come up. And then they've shown us some statistics from last September: page views, unique users, average time people have spent on the page. So that's another piece that they offer digital, just like the Advocate does. And then the other radio station that Brent had assisted in reaching out with was the CKNX Cool 94.5 101.7 The One. And so they've laid out this package as well. And then they actually sent us a sample of what the radio ad could sound like. So again, I guess the prices are laid out there. I don't have to re-explain it, but that's the other radio that was sent to us as well. So radio can run on the higher end of the dollar spectrum if we're looking at it. But I think it is something we should try and dabble in the near future, but to what degree and how far do we want to go into it? So those are the prices. Did you want me to flip to the budget, or do you want me to flip back to something?
So just to clarify, Trish, on this particular page we're looking at now, this was a joint venture between businesses and the BIA. So the businesses would pay $100 and the BIA would pay $100. Correct? And how many I'm trying to figure out how many businesses would we need per month to make that?
I think it was three businesses per commercial, on top of having an opener and a closer for like the BIA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was definitely like $100 per business, and then the BIA has to put in. The BIA portion is $1,200 per month for 11 months, or $13,200 for the year. Each business that wanted to participate would pay $100 per month to get about 5 times the value. So it would be a 60-second long ad.
Okay, so we're not $100 a month as a BIA. The businesses are $100 a month and worth $1,100 a month.
$1,200. Yeah.
$1,200. Sorry, pardon me.
Yeah.
Okay, so regardless, they're both running about the same amount. One $750 or $1,300, and this one is $1,200 per month.
And then they gave another option too. Sorry, that because we had said like our budget's pretty small, they could also do a similar campaign two stations instead of the 3 over a 5 to 6 month time frame, that would be around $5,000.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind unsharing for
Yep.
just a second, hopefully everyone has that burned to their memory for a minute.
By the looks of it,
Let's open the floor to discussion.
By the looks of it, the one with Stratford Radio is the better deal
Yeah, I would agree with that.
with the free ad. Now, is that when they say 50 ads and 70 free ads, that's 70 additional free ads or a total of 70?
So when you buy 50 ads, 25 per station, you get 70 more ads free. So
You're up to 120 ads.
35 station.
Per month.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think more people listen to those two stations than the other one. Or what do you guys?
Potentially.
It's hard to say.
Potentially.
Yeah.
It really depends on the age group, because I know I'm not a big Stratford listener, but I know a lot of people listen to Wingham, but I find it depends. So
Yeah.
I wish there was a way we could do one radio station in one way and one radio station in Stratford, but I don't think that's really an option. I mean, the elephant in the room is the $1,300, $1,100, $1,200 a month. We don't have that kind of budget for a year-long campaign, unfortunately.
well, the catch boils down to with our AGM coming up. I mean, this is where we have the option of going to the businesses and saying, do they want to pursue this? Because if it is, we have to tweak our budget to adjust for it. I mean, if they want to hold the budget as is, then we have to figure out how to do our advertising with the 5,000 that we've sort of set out there. But if they're keen, like that's the one thing I kind of liked about the one where if the businesses could throw $100 and jump on board, like BIA wants to do this, and Steve Walcombs are doing a tie-in, which has that.
But it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us with our $1,200 a month.
No.
But what it boils down to is if the businesses are keen and are prepared to say it's worth the extra money, then the AGM is the place to have that conversation. But that's the catch, is that if they're not, then we're back to the 5,000. We have to figure out how to do it.
I think what Bert's saying is we increase our budget, increase our levy then to the businesses.
It's the only way to make, if you want radio, then we'd have to throw in an additional 1,300 or eat into our reserves for the year to see if it works.
Well, I wonder if we do a little, like maybe not a whole year. Do you think there's an opportunity, Trish, to try it for a month at a time here and there as we do events?
I think like when I had the conversation with Dave from the Stratford radio station, he was kind of suggesting, based on our budget, because we have such a small budget for a BIA, he was really suggesting to do like an on demand, so like an on event basis. That's where you get your best bang for your buck. But there's no harm in doing a shop local one month and then doing a Target one for our events.
I wonder if we dabble in it when we figure out what we're going to do in the spring, summer, whether it's a street party in the summer, whether it's a the summer concerts, and we do a monthly. And then as we get to Christmas, we do a shop local, maybe in November or December. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I just me like, and it's only just my opinion. It's not right. It's just a way to open the conversation. I wonder if we, as soon as we know here as this 3 weeks and as this winter moves on and they know what we're going to be able to do, and we jump on a summer event, we do a month for that summer event, and then we let that sit, and then we try and see how we did with it, see if it worked on our targeted event for the money. And then we do in November, December, half November, half of December, just a strictly shop local Christmas campaign, and see if, because we would hopefully have our Christmas street party at that point too. So it'll be half a Target, half a shop local.
Yeah.
So open to discussion.
And you really don't have to decide tonight. we can sleep on it till the February meeting as well, and then think about it again for February. At the AGM in March is when you have to approve the budget. So I'm presenting a budget tonight with some adjustments to accommodate the advertising that would allow us to not break into our reserve yet, but like it's open to changes too. Like, again, this is just draft one presentation, and then we can reconsider advertising and come back to it in February.
Did we do any radio last year?
Just the street party, just the $600, and we had some ads before that, like the
That was
radio
brand,
station
right?
brand. Yeah, correct. That was our first little radio dabble.
And then how much did we spend on the Advocate last year?
I guess I'll have to go back to my budget to actual here.
Like,
Sorry.
did we do the whole
3,000, I think.
3,000?
Yeah, we're at a little over 2,500 right now, but I know there's still a couple more ads, like another invoice to come in that had a couple more ads. So we'll say 3,000 for argument's sake.
Yeah.
What's the circulation of the Advocate? Is it growing? I know the town's growing, but is the circulation growing?
I think they're
Yeah.
Like I think the Advocate, it's a great paper, great people, but nobody reads it as much. I don't think the new people read it. The younger people in the town don't read it. Maybe it's people that always lived in Mitchell still read it, get the information and things like that. But as for a way of getting our message across, the Advocate is likely not the best avenue going forward.
I
Hate to say
expect
that.
they've struggled through the pandemic. The content has shrunk.
Yes.
And I think it's still important that we dabble in paper because there's still an audience base of people that we aren't hitting on Facebook. We don't hit on cable TV. We don't hit on the digital sign because they don't leave their house. But the other thing too is we could really work with the Advocate on the digital advertising. I myself am not a subscriber to the paper, but I religiously look at their website, and when they share their stories on Facebook, it comes up on my feed, and then I read the stories on Facebook, which then your digital advertising is linked to those. So once you click that link and it goes out to their website, oh look, the BIA has 10% off their BIA dollars. Like, I think we could still do paper advertising, but I think we could also up our ante in digital because I feel like a lot of the demographic is looking at digital nowadays. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's moving that way.
I would say we got to keep bringing this up every month and continue to talk about it. Going for probably do small ads going forward on radio. Like if we're going to do garage sale, as an example, in May, maybe the 1st of April, we start doing a bunch of advertising for April and May, then judge it, see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you hit it there. I think we dabble this year in it a little more aggressively than we have, and see how it goes.
Can I just tweak on the radio before we go on? I don't know how many of you guys have probably Steve, you flirted with radio. I know I have, and I found one of my biggest mistakes. I've always been a little reserved is that if we don't have a good message when we're doing it, it's gonna be ineffective. So we need to make sure we put a bit of thought in before, because when we say dabbling, it's like we just kind of throw the proverbial stuff at the wall. I just want us to make sure that when we start going that direction, we have a really good message, like a firm, either a branding thing we want to run with, or as Dustin will say, something that it's not just going to be, because I've always been big not fans of this, just shop local. I see, because I see shop local everywhere, and it's about as effective now as listening to our medical of health talk when she gives her COVID reports. It just flushes off people. So if we can just come up with a good couple of branding things that work for us, because I'd rather not use the same one every time, but something that's just, because maybe the spring brand, a Christmas brand, it's just something catchy that leaves an impression.
Yeah.
And I told Dave that we don't have a slogan.
Maybe we need one.
We don't have any of those things. And his marketing department can help us come up with something, and then come up with the wording for the ad for the shop local. Because I said people are tired of hearing shop local. We need something to like entice people to come to Mitchell. And he's got a team that can help us with that if we can't think of something.
Yeah, like a free haircut at all styles.
Good
Thanks,
Lord.
Sherry.
Yeah. Yay. I think you've hit on the nail on the head there, guys. I think we need a slogan. I think we need to have, we need to have something. And how do we want to go about doing that?
Is there any way?
We had one there a few years ago. I think it was something about come visit Mitchell something. You might like to visit, but stay for a lifetime or something like that. Maybe that was just one of the other community.
We did something like that. There's a lot of places use that now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you thinking, Dustin? Sorry. What were you thinking?
No, could you do like a contest or something where you
Absolutely.
put it out like, for the month
100%.
of February, we're looking for suggestions for slogans for Mitchell, something like that. And you could put out like $100 for the best one.
Yep.
And I don't know, just, you could do a voting thing. Just do it over Facebook, something like that.
I like that. I think we give it a whirl. Downtown
Yeah.
Mitchell, downtown BIA is looking for a slogan.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
When Perth County did it years ago, so I mean, maybe we can. It certainly gets people thinking about it. So.
Okay. I think it's a fabulous idea. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
Maybe we go then as we get them, we maybe look at them as a board and pick our top 5 and put them out there for a vote.
I wonder if there's a way to like get the kids involved too, because they're generally a little more creative when it comes to like coming up with stuff. Adults are too, but I wonder if you could try to like hit both the kids to come up with something creative, like give them a theme maybe. And then adults as well too.
Whatever you think. Yep. I think we just put it out there. Mitchell BIA is looking for a slogan. What do you love about your downtown? Downtown, not just Mitchell itself, but downtown. And we give them, so we need to get that sort of out there. Is there a dollar value anyone would like to put to this?
Austin said $100 BIA bucks, I assume.
Yeah, I would second that.
$100. Okay, everyone in favor then? Bert, or we'll say Dustin and Steve. All right. So let's get that out there. Advocate, I guess, and social medias and the best that we can, that we're looking for a slogan. Send us your ideas, email them to Trish. Trish can hopefully bring them to us over the next meeting or whenever we get them, and we'll see how many we get. I'll be optimistic and say, let's, as a group, pick our top 5 and we can put them out for a vote after that, or we'll go from there. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks so much for.
Thanks, Dustin. Okay, so the advocate advertising and the radio advertising, what's our consensus, folks?
We need to move ahead with it. I think both need to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a matter of figuring out what the correct financial investment is that we're looking at.
So do you want me to pull up the budget to show what I'm sort of recommending this year?
Might as well.
Go.
We did the work. Let's see
Yeah, I
it.
think we need to say this is how much more we want to spend and let them tell us how we're going to spend it or suggest.
Okay, so let me just get my screen share here. It's like an internet page. Can everybody see that okay? Okay, so I'll just run through the changes that I've made and then I could just give a little bit of detail on it. So our member levy will always stay the same unless we increase the levy for all members. The associate membership fee has gone up obviously from last year because we had a number of new associate members join. I'm not sure if the $3,075 includes the one associate member that hasn't paid yet. So I know there's one that hasn't paid, so I don't know if that is reflected in there. Plus, we just had a new associate member join, and they won't be invoiced until April when we issue all the associate invoices. And then I don't know why this transfer from reserve is here, so I better just circle back on that piece. And the salaries was already increased when I was given the spreadsheet. I would say that would be with the cost of living, and so that was an increase of $2,000 plus the CPP, EI, etc. For advertising, I increased the budget to $7,500 because then this could potentially allow us to dabble in a couple different radio campaigns. Our audit is our standard $300 for the municipality. The $2,500 that we had allocated in the staff and board development is what I moved into advertising, so that we will still run our budget similar, just move numbers around. There is a conference for OBIA in April, and I suspect we will not be going. So if that changes, then I can put money back in this line item. But otherwise, I would say we probably won't have much staff and board development in 2022. Meeting expenses stays the same at $400. If we get back to in-person meetings, we can have our have some food come in. And then our membership with OBIA went up by $30 from last year. So that's reflected here. And then everything else has kind of been left the same. One wrench I'm gonna throw out there is this $5,000 for the BIA dollars. So typically we always run our Christmas promotion, which is the 5%, or sorry, the 10% off is this $5,000 that we pay. We have a very wealthy surplus, and I'm wondering if we want to try to promote the 10% off sales longer. So we would have to potentially add more money to this $5,000 line. But if we promoted it longer, instead of just having that 10% off at the end of the year, could we start it in September, or say that we run it from October till January right off the hop, like just an idea. So right now, with the minor adjustments that I made, we would be at a deficit of a surplus of $720. And again, that is partially due to the fact of the increase in associate membership fees. So first draft of the budget is what I've presented tonight. I don't know if there's any questions or thoughts.
It's been so long since we've done this, but our membership levy for the BIA, how is that calculated again?
So it's a percentage based on, Jeff, what is the word that I'm looking for? Their taxes.
On
It's
your commercial assessment.
Assessment.
Yeah, assessment. Thank you. It's a percentage based on the assessment. So we have some members that actually pay under the $100 threshold, but they're automatically bumped up to pay at least $100.
But I'm just wondering, I did know the calculation at one time, but what if we have brought the membership levy up to even $25,000 or $26,000? What's that do to the average BIA member? Does that up their contribution by $50, by $60 a year on their taxes?
I will unshare to see if Jeff is able to give any input.
Yeah, so I think first of all, my feedback, I'll give you my feedback first, and I'll talk about how I think the feedback is, I think you should try dipping into your reserve a little bit before you change the levy, just because I think it might be a communications exercise with your membership on the amount of reserve that you have and the efficacy of the program. So that's just advice from me, but you as a board have to make your decisions. And then on the levy, the way it is calculated on assessment, and it's back calculated from what your budget is, and then we back calculate it through the assessment for the downtown after we take the $100 minimums off. So it would be a bit of a complicated exercise to say how much that would be per person per business. But I think if you sort of think, if everyone was the same size and there were 100 businesses and you want to generate $4,000, it's got to be 100 businesses times $40 a business to get your 4,000. Right. And that's really a really very rough number, but it's really not a lot of money per business, but maybe this isn't the year either. Right. So I'll just leave it there.
I think that's sort of where I was leaning to, that we maybe accept the tweaks that Trish has made And if we find ourselves in a pickle through the year and want to do more about something, we dip into our reserves and we see where we're at.
It's close to 20,000 reserve or something like
Oh,
that.
26?
30, 33 and
30
change.
We're 33 now.
Well, there
Yeah,
you go.
like, yeah, I think if the conference comes up, if something spectacular, we've been talking about these speakers downtown, I think we dip into our reserves, we get our reserves, if we need to, down to a level that's maybe looks a little better, 10,000 or something before we up the rest.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we show our value. I think we we start doing things like speakers and radio advertising and a slogan. We've got all, we talked the last year or so about how we needed to get our housekeeping in order. And we felt so stagnant because our legalese needed work. I think now we start to show our value.
Okay. No, it makes sense.
Okay. Thanks. That's great input, everyone. Sorry, lost my agenda again here. 2020 draft budget we just discussed. I think, is anything else for Trish, or Trish, you have anything else?
I think that's it for now. I think next meeting I'll probably bring the hopefully information from the speakers, and then also a draft work plan to kind of lay out 2022. I don't know if there's anything, I guess, is there any feedback I can give to the radio stations or the Advocate on their proposals at this point?
We're
Just
thinking about
it. We're just working out the details.
Yeah.
Not saying no, just not jumping in with both feet just yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet froze, so I missed that.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Not saying no, just not jumping in with both feet. Going to get our toes wet, and we're going to do it on a as per needed with both of them, with radio and with print and digital.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. If that's it for Trish, other business. I'm going to let Bert. I'll get Jeff to put his camera back on. This is radio advertising again, but this is something Bert has brought to the board. An idea he had, something that he heard with Listowel and thought he might throw that out there. So I'm going to let Bert speak to this.
Yeah, while we're driving around, which we seem to do way too much of, I just happened to catch, when we were talking about radio, I happened to catch North Perth. And of course they did, I think, Brent, I don't know whether the ranch had a snippet of it or whatever, but the municipality had a Christmas message. The usual North Perth, Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And then the second half was basically kind of a geared shop local campaign that basically says, and the municipality wants to encourage you to start use your local stores and all that. And when I heard that, I kind of thought, well, there once again it's a targeted message. It's got a message where the municipality is doing one side and the BIA or the chambers, I'm not sure which piece it was tagging along with their piece of it. And I don't know if the municipalities ever looked at radio ads. If you have, I haven't heard any. But it was just one of those, I thought, well, if there's another round of where we can partnership together, if the municipality is interested down the road and saying, we're doing a targeted message for whatever, if it's a Christmas message, then can you sit there and one half is the municipality and the other half is the BIA? I don't know if you heard that or not, Jeff. I was listening to the ranch is where we started doing that. I started listening to that, and of course that's where I heard it. So
yeah, didn't hear it, Bert, but I can certainly look into it. I suspect, we certainly don't have a radio advertising budget. We're doing traditional print media for advertising, and we're putting most of our energy into our social media channels, frankly, is where we're, I think, having good traction and good success. But I can look into it, and I'm wondering if it wasn't maybe a BIA ad and they gave the municipality an opportunity to partner with them. So either way, I'll take a look. I'll ask, it'll be a pleasure for me to chase that one down with you with the CAO of North Perth.
Is he still there, or has he moved on?
No, he's still there.
He must like it there. He moved around a fair bit for a bit. Anyway, but no, it doesn't really matter which way it goes. It was just, I thought it was one where, as I said, I don't like using the old throw the stuff at the wall, and it was a really good ad. that got the message across. And I find that's the catch, is when you're doing radio, it's got to be a good message. And that was, one was doing the Christmas message, and it was like, oh, on top of that, please remember to shop local at this time of year and do that. So I thought it was just a good way of a focused campaign.
Yeah, I think we have to find all the partnerships that we can, and certainly a message from Mayor and what have you with a Merry Christmas and a shop local campaign together do marry very well, I think. And we'll be in a new term of council by then, Jeff Brick, too. So might be a good way to throw that out there as well over Christmas. So, okay. Yeah. We'll put that on the agenda as an item for Trish to sort of keep as we get into the fall, or into August, September, and we start to look forward. Okay. Next board meet. Oh, anything else? Sorry, any new business? There's other business. Anything else? Other business? New business? Anything we're forgetting?
I thought of this earlier night when Dustin was still on the call. Maybe it's too late, or with us in lockdown right now again, or whatever you want to call it, chances are it's going to extend into February. Last year for Family Day, we did an online concert. That's something that we want to look at again, or we should have been talking about it before now, but
that's a good point.
What are your thoughts? It keeps the BIA page focused on the community, keeps the community focused on the BIA, things like that. Problem is we don't have Dustin here now. Does he have the time to put it together?
Because last time he was on shutdown, right? So he had lots of time. Do we rerun?
Well, there you go. Why don't we plan on rerunning what we did last year?
We spent a lot of time and money and energy into that.
4 videos on those. Yeah.
Yep. We could reverse the direction of them this time. We could rerun the last one first, and
just for Family Day weekend, get something planned, get something going, and makes it look like we're doing something, we're promoting ourselves and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think you're right. From what little I've heard of the conversation, when they start to say we'll review after 21 days, it makes me kind of, especially when they, they're talking about 10 to 12. Heavens, the one lady was talking 100,000 testing positive a day, which I don't know whether they're trying to get back into the scaremongering to keep things going, or whether we legitimately might.
Wow, you don't even know how many a day now that they're not even reporting it.
Yeah.
So.
Trish, how do you feel about rerunning them?
So I was just gonna say maybe I could do two things. See if Dustin would be interested in doing a new one, or we can easily rerun one of the 3 that we did last year. They're all up on our Facebook page, so I can either reshare them or he can reprogram it. It would cost money for us to reprogram it to do that live stream through that internet browser that he had, so there would be some cost to rerun. Some of the storefronts have changed, and so I would be concerned about rerunning one of those concerts if there was a change of scenery, because there's been quite a few that have moved out and moved in. So
right, good point.
That's what I was going to say. We'd have to check the advertising on it to make sure they're still in business.
But then again,
good point.
You see it all the time, previously recorded, so.
Well, I think there's value of it. You can still use it, but maybe we could do both and just say, tweak a little bit with Dustin's help and say, here's some additional to it, but also do, like I said, the YouTube, you go back and review old stuff. So, I mean,
he wouldn't have to redo all the drone footage. No. Like a lot of his drone footage is very, generic and general. It would just possibly be refilming new. Maybe we did it without advertising and just use the generic drone footage and music. And it would just be a matter of re-recording a bit of music. We'll run it by him.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah. I'll run a few options by him.
Okay, Family Day is coming quick, so I guess if he's going to do it, do it. And if he's comfortable with
3 weeks, basically.
If he's comfortable with reusing some of the footage that he's already done the work on, we just maybe make sure we're not using some businesses that have closed, and all he has to do is put it back together again.
Yeah.
With some new music. I would be in. Okay.
And maybe Trish asked Dustin too for the next meeting. You know, come to us, you know, he's gonna charge us $200 to put it together, or $500, whatever it is, you know.
I wonder if he's gonna have to start putting it together now. So maybe he could send that out to Trish and she'll just
Yeah.
give it to the board and then
Yeah.
we'll vote, we'll vote on it on live February 1st, but just that generic out to the board, what the cost will be so that he can get going and get started and not wait till February 1st.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it still is
perfect.
3 weeks out,
But he might want to get started.
Yep.
Working away at it now, so he's not rushing.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's, yeah.
Next meeting, February. We just voted on it. February.
second.
First Wednesday in February. Thank you. Second.
Groundhog Day.
Couldn't get my calendar up fast enough. I'm sorry. What was that, Steve?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Well, let's hope it's not Groundhog Day. Actual Groundhog Day. All right. So motion to adjourn. Steve, Heather, and obviously all in favor. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll just give Kristen a minute to